Boeing building in Renton, once a symbol of innovation, is now a giant eyesore. Neighbors say it's been taken over by squatters, vandals, and crime, costing surrounded businesses thousands of dollars and putting public safety at risk. Taylor Winkle digging into how this building got so bad and why Renton homeowners are the ones paying the price.
Since World War II,
it is one of our greatest legacies.
Renton's produced more than 30% of the airplanes flying all across the world.
The commercial jet age began here in Renton.
Thanks to Boeing. But now what was once a hub to build that legacy is a liability.
I see a giant eyesore.
Every day when Dave Meister opens his car shop, staring back at him from across the street is this dilapidated former Boeing office building at 500 Park Avenue.
Some of the police officers I've talked to said that there's smell of like methamphetamines inside.
Wreaked havoc on by squatters and vandals, stripped of every piece of copper wiring. Hundreds of its windows smashed out and on most days embellished in graffiti.
Back in the corner here, they've cut this section of fence multiple times, and you can see where I've patched it.
And now fallout from the failing building costs his business more than $20,000 a year in security and fixes.
We have seen people dumping air conditioning units, however many stories it is, down on the sidewalk. We've seen the debris actually fly across the sidewalk.
Surrounding businesses and homeowners like Cheryl Freeze say it's the same for them. And what was once a shining star for supporting the city through its property tax revenue is now a mess Renton is stuck with. This graph is from the King County Tax Assessor's Office. You can see in 2024, the building paid out more than $480,000 in property tax, generating enough revenue to fund approximately 2 teachers and contribute to emergency medical services, the fire department, King County, and more. That tax base plummeted to just $75,000 this year, while activity at the building keeps sucking from city services.
What I call the theme song for Renton, and that is the fire engines, and that is the police sirens, constantly in this area.
Cheryl's watched it go up in flames more than once, most recently in July. Records from Renton police show officers responded to 500 Park Avenue 46 times in the last 3 years for suspicious people, juvenile problems, and to assist fire. Dave's become the unofficial babysitter, calling 911 whenever he sees something strange, trying to protect his customers' cars and his neighbors, the coffee stand, all while he says the city of Renton just stands by.
It's almost as if they're not doing anything at all. They're pushing it off.
They could have saved the building as far as I'm concerned.
Randy Corman is an expert on city code. He sat on Renton City Council for 28 years, and he worked here in this building with Boeing for 33.
It's depressing. We used to be able to come to these buildings at any time of day or night.
In 2021, Boeing sold the building to Ion Renton, a company out of California. Ion didn't properly secure it, and people moved in from off the street. Instead of holding Ion to the same city code homeowners are held to, requiring them to fix the appearance or the city do it for them and send them a bill, Corman says the city let the building go, sending it into a spiral of disrepair. Corman says Renton homeowners are now seeing the evidence on their property tax. A shrinking business tax revenue for the city means homeowners have to pay to fill the gap.
Oh, gosh. My own personal property taxes have increased 50% since 2021.
Right now, Ion has the property listed for sale as land, but that's where we run into another problem: construction. The Department of Ecology is monitoring the property for arsenic, diesel, and other contaminants above cleanup levels in the groundwater, which also limits the scope of what this land could be used for. We reached out to Renton's mayor, Armando Pavoni, to ask why the city didn't step in before it was too late to save the office building. He refused an interview, but in a statement, his office said there's a demolition permit associated with the property and the work will take somewhere between 8 and 10 months. It went on to say the city's continued to hold property owners accountable through all legal pathways, but everyone we talked to for this story says if they had we wouldn't be here and the building would still be functional.
People who are driving through here and seeing this, that now becomes our brand. That becomes who Renton is. That does not attract businesses. That does not attract new residents.
Park Avenue connects Renton's historic downtown to the more modern landing.
Right in the middle of the gateway, we have a derelict set of buildings that's, just about to crumble. It's literally crumbling onto the sidewalk.
On the other side of town, another problem property. As you come into Renton from 405 to 167, the first thing you see is the former Red Lion Hotel, boarded up, vacant, and unusable. It served as a shelter during the pandemic until 2022. The county paid a $330,000 lease to the building's owner every month until they bought the property for $36 million last year. And since then, it's sat.
All we see is increase in property taxes, and then we see more of this.
We reached out to King County. They say they're exploring options, including a potential surplus sale. But right now, there's no timeline.
And blocks away from that Park Avenue building is a great example of a well taken care of vacant building. This former Fry's Electronics closed back in 2021, but the property owners took care of it. They hired security. They kept the building usable, and now it's undergoing renovations to become a Winco later on this year. For now, reporting in Renton, I'm Taylor Winkle, Fox 13 News.